I'm Ryan. This is my brother Daniel, and this is Rolls in the Family, and it is the most wonderful time of the year. We would sing a beautiful duet, but it would our video latency would I think.
Oh, I thought you were just gonna say people were just gonna click off.
Yeah. You don't want to open the video with that.
We'll save that for the end.
Yes. We're here to do kind of a special end of year video. You know, you may see a lot of channels in our niche. Yes, we try to be festive. If there's one thing I learned from this morning, it's that I don't own any Christmas. I don't really have an ugly story. I'm going with. This is my attempt at like a Feliz Navidad, like Mexican inspired Christmas outfit.
I think you're on track there.
Let me know if I nailed it down in the comments.
Me too.
Yes. But you may see other channels in our niche often doing like a top games of the year video, looking at games that are released in 2024. We can pretty much guarantee you're never going to see that type of video from us, because that's not really how we try to not let the channel drive our board gaming habits too much. You know, we want to just be playing what we want to play. And what we want to play, you know, we'll sometimes play a couple games that came out the current year, but it's a lot of games that didn't come out the current year. And so, you know, we're not going to do our top two games.
That just doesn't perform well.
So we try to think like kind of what maybe an equivalent could be for kind of our style. And we kind of landed on this idea of an awards ceremony that's kind of based more around games we played this year. And so we're going to see how this goes. We actually came up with 5 categories that we're going to be counting down awards. So here you go. We're going to kick it off with the best day of games. So this is, what's the day that just got the most, impressive set of games to the table? It was just like, man, that was a good day of getting different games played. Then we will go to the biggest blowout of the year. So somebody got killed in a game. You get to find out who. Next up will be closest finish. So the opposite, just what was the tightest finish that we had. Then we will have the worst play of the year, which is a little bit tongue-in-cheek. There's a lot of ways we could look at this as far as reasons why something. But that's kind of to juxtapose what we will then finish with, which is the best play of the year. We do our monthly top plays. This is the top of the entire year. And so we'll talk about that there at the end. If you would like to, in the comments below, leave maybe your top play of the year, if you can remember, if there was something that stood out. If you're an overachiever, feel free to hit the other categories and leave those as well. But it's kind of a fun time to reflect on games played this year.
That's right.
And yeah, let's we'll have links to all the games we talked about as per usual. But let's jump into this, Daniel, with our best day of games. So please present your
Okay, here we go. The so for 2024, the Daniel's winner of best day. I guess we don't have because I'm going to announce a day. Is that what the winner is?
Yeah, the day is the winner. Please come up and accept.
Best day of games goes to June 15th.
June 15th.
Let's go. June 15th, 2024. Ryan, can you? This was. I
might have been involved in this.
You were very involved in this. This was actually on our family vacation.
Okay.
So opportunity. To play, I think, quite a few games. And what's interesting, actually, is this is winning best day, despite, I wouldn't say any of these games really are I don't think any of them are in my top 30 games.
Wow.
So kind of interesting. But it just is when you put all of them together, and when I think back through kind of going through each game, it was like, man, there was just a ton of fun in that day. So it started off with nothing other than cribbage, Ryan. We have our...
Wait, is this only on here because you beat me in the cribbage tournament?
Ryan, I can neither confirm nor deny.
Daniel's I will find a way to talk about
that's
this
actually
again.
The only reason this is on the list. No, we have a cribbage tournament every single year at our family reunion. And so I got a couple games of cribbage in, and there may or may not have been a win over Ryan in that, which always
is rare.
It's both rare and it gets a day off to a good start. We in that day got to play. This was my first time playing Green Team Wins. We got everyone together and played that game. Which, oh my gosh, I remember that was the moment I realized I need to own this game, because it was so much fun. It was just like the perfect party game, for that moment. We were laughing super hard. It was we had a lot of people playing. I remember.
Yeah, we were probably
table.
close to the 12. It can go up to 12 players.
Yeah.
I think we were close to that.
So we played a couple games of that. I remember that day we played A Message from the Stars. It wasn't the first time, but we played. It was I think me, you, and our older brother. Yep. And that just was really fun. Went really well, and it was kind of like the perfect group, I think, for that game as well.
We dominated.
We did dominate. I don't know who was the clue giver for that. Do you remember?
Yeah, I don't know. We overcame the clue givers. That's all I remember. Is
you sick freak, Ryan. Unbelievable. Okay, so we I don't know if you remember, me and you this day played not one, but 2 games of Watergate.
Oh, that's right. I haven't played that in a long time.
Yeah, and I hadn't really played it much either, and I think the first game, I can't remember exactly, but I think it was the second game especially was like tight and really fun. That is an interesting game. It is. In some ways it takes like what we love about Twilight Struggle in like, a super long 4-hour game, and you get like a taste of it in kind of this like, back and forth in a game like that. So that was fun. We played a 5-player game of World Wonders that day. I remember that was a really fun play of World Wonders. That was, I think, my first time playing with all 5, and just was, went over super well. And we got to try a game of Targi together.
That's right.
Which that one may have not been the best play. I think we were
did we even finish it that day?
I have it logged for that day. Yeah. But anyways, Ryan, it was just like a bunch of just good, like I don't think there was a miss on that day, and you add all those things together, and man, it just makes June 15th just a delightful day in 2024. So that is my winner for best day of games.
Very nice.
Thank you.
I in fact do not have the same best day, despite being, I think, in all those games.
Ryan had a day that was better.
So, that was somewhere in my list. So when I was looking at this, I was very much just going off like the list of the games that were played, not trying to dig too much back into this, trying to remember the specifics. This is back in February 18th. It's a little hard to remember exact details of the games. But this was the game lineup for the day. We had Age of Innovation, which that's a heavy-hitting, great, heavy strategy game.
Yeah.
So that already has just given a very strong foundation to the day.
Good start.
Then Marvel United, which is a very fun, lighter, cooperative game.
Yeah.
But then also played Yellow and Yangtze, which is another strategy and one that I don't get to play a lot. Mm-hmm. But very fascinating game, the way that one unfolds and everything. And then finished with Mechs versus Minions, which is another. So we went competitive, cooperative, and that's another one that these days I don't get played a lot, but is such a fun game and just such a fun dynamic. It just felt like a very well-rounded game day. Like I got to play one of my top heavy strategy games, got to play kind of my favorite light cooperative game.
Right.
Then got to play this kind of more medium weight strategy game in Yellow and Yangtze that's very, very unique feel. And then Mechs versus Minions is another cooperative one that just kind of it ends up being very funny too, and like just getting the group dynamic going. And so, it from the days I looked at, this was the one that kind of rose to the top for me. It is funny as I was looking through these. It made me realize just how much back in the day when, we talk about the glory days of our board gaming back when we were like living together at home. And it's like, let's just say if we had done this back then, we'd be like, yeah, that day we played these 20 big games or whatever. It was really good. So things aren't like they used to be, but a great day of gaming on February 18th.
Yeah. Which, speaking of funny, Ryan, I don't think we mentioned, we teased us singing a song at the end, which unfortunately is not going to happen, but we are going to have
hey, never count it out.
You
never know how a video is going to go.
That's true. But we do have our top bloopers of the year, which will be at the end of this video.
Coming at the end.
As well. So stay tuned, folks. Stay tuned.
Skip to it if that's all you care about.
If you're tired of us right now, just get on over there.
Yep. Alrighty, Daniel. So that means we're moving on to biggest blowout of the year. It'll be interesting to see if either of us are involved in the other person's entry here.
Yes, you are, right.
But I am very intrigued to hear what you feel was the biggest, most notable blowout.
I needed a little pick me up this morning, so I went back and.
So help me if it's cribbage again, Daniel.
And for a second award of the year, that was
cribbage
not. It was
just
not
running away with this.
It was not cribbage. It was not cribbage, Ryan. So actually, this was a similar time frame. This was before the our kind of family vacation. You guys were out visiting us here. Got to play quite a few different board games. And one that we were very excited to try is a larger game. Got to play it together. I don't think Ryan was too fond of this play, but Daniel was. This biggest blowout of the year is going to go to Dwellings of Eldervale.
Yeah, I forget how bad it was, actually.
Yeah, so the score was 97 to 66. So,
I think that makes it sound closer than it was.
Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty good set, and it was honestly even more so than the score. Like, and this is probably why it didn't make your top plays, unfortunately. But I just remember it was a game of everything was going wrong for you, like in terms of the things that were happening.
Yeah, I remember it was like I repeated 3 times the process of strategize, try to pull this whole thing together, and right at the last moment realized that I forgot some rule or got something wrong in my head that meant that it didn't materialize the way I thought it was going to.
Which is why I love when I get to teach games, because I can leave out some important rules.
Set it up to be one of these nice plays.
It's really good. But it was combined. So you were really struggling over there, Ryan. And I was just, things were just coming together so well, and I was feeling great. And so, man, it turned into quite the blowout, which honestly, I don't like blowouts. Especially when I'm like introducing a new game, like I want you to like it, Ryan. I want you to like it. But if you're not going to like it, I might as well blow you out.
Yeah,
so,
might as well.
There you go. There you go. So that is Dwellings of Eldervale wins the prestigious award of biggest blowout of the year.
Yeah, as we do this year over year, are we going to have like, this is the third win for...
I know.
And there's also one in these categories.
That'd be kind of fun.
Yes. So I feel a little bad putting my biggest blow. It wasn't you, Daniel. You're safe for now. But I feel a little bad putting this on my list because it definitely was a game that even before we played it, we knew there was definitely a big difference in the kind of skill. It's me beating down on my son. No, just kidding.
It's just some kid's game.
No. And this is a game. It's a game I love that is if there's a gap in skill, even a small one, it potentially can lead to a huge gap in final score. And this is Crokinole. I enjoy Crokinole a lot, and I've got some people that I've played with more that we've been pretty even. I was playing with a friend that has his own Crokinole board. Really nice one, actually. It's nicer than my Crokinole board. And we had an opportunity to try it out and play a little bit together. And we knew, I had played a lot more Crokinole.
You're going to do him dirty like this.
I know, I am. Shout out. This is our friend that actually, he's responsible for the Rules in the Family logo. So shout out to my friend.
Wow. So even more sad that you're
I'm so sorry that this is how it has to come up. But I felt like this was, even given those circumstances, was still notable because the final score, you play to 100 in Crokinole. The final score in this particular game was 180 to 0.
All right. No.
And you have to understand about Crokinole is it's the type of game that you play a round of it where you go back and forth flicking your discs, but in any given round, only one person scores. It's whoever has more points on the board. So even if, it was really close, the person who had 5 points more gets 5 for the round, the other person gets 0. So what that means is you could have every round be really close, but if one person is slightly winning every round, they're eventually going to win 100-0.
It can allow for big comebacks too.
It can.
Yeah.
You can have a lot of drama.
Right.
And that's great. What's maybe even more notable here is the fact that I managed to make it to 180, which is very difficult to do because the game ends when you get to 100. So that means I needed to get right
running
before
up the
100.
Score. Unbelievable.
Right before 100, and then had like 80, 90 point. I had to, I guess, have like at least an 85 point round to finish it.
Unbelievable.
So,
You're
it's
like
one
that
of those
guy
games.
that fake kneels the ball in football and throws a Hail Mary.
Fake spike Hail Mary. Yeah.
Gosh.
No, the game wasn't over. Need to get to 100. But yeah, it was fun, and
I bet it was.
Good. Yeah, at least for me.
Are you guys still friends?
Yes. But it when I looked at what I could pick on this list, it was hard to not, given just the overall disparity and the how far I was able to get over the kind of capped score.
If you played this game with Ryan, comment down below if you're still friends.
Yeah. Maybe I need somebody to come humble me in Crokinole.
I know. I bet there's some people out there. Let us know. Yeah. Are you got any Crokinole fans out there in the viewers? Yeah. Very nice. Yeah, that's a big blowout, Ryan.
It's pretty big.
That's big. That's bad.
Which segues into what was our closest finish of the year?
Yeah.
And this is interesting because I think we put like all else equal a bias towards like more players, like 4 people finishing really close is like feels like a more close finish than just like a 2-player game where you finish close.
Well, that's a wonderful setup, Ryan, because I have a game where 4 people finished very close to each other, and this actually was in my last top plays so I think it was my top plays of November. But this was a game, a heavy game, scoring lots of points, where the difference between first and last place was 6 points of 4 players. So my closest finish of the year is going to go to Terraforming Mars. This was an unbelievable game. I mean, it was one of those, oftentimes when you're playing a game like these, you have a general sense of at least who you think is winning. Like you can at least say, like, I think this person. That was the crazy thing about this game. None of us had any idea, which made it really funny when we're playing like those, events where you have to choose someone, because we're just like,
you guys did a really good job because you kept
must
it nice
have.
and even.
We just did it out of spite versus strategic decision making. That's all we had at that point. So the scores in this game, and I even took last and I put it on the list here, but it was 88, 85, 84, 82. I mean, it was one of those things where, like, even when losing, you're just like, everyone is just so amazed.
Like, that was just a great game.
So great.
Yeah.
This was also the play where we filled every spot on the board in Terraforming Mars, which I have never seen happen before.
I've never done that.
It was just such a wild game, and then for us we were all just doing such very different things, and for it to like come down to that, oh my goodness, it was pretty epic to have a 4-player game land that close. I tell you what, when you have a close finish like this, it makes everyone all be like, oh my gosh, if I would have done that, or I was gonna claim one of the awards, right? Those are the ones that you get when you meet the objective and you can claim it.
That's milestones.
Oh, that's a milestone. Okay, I get the two mixed up. I was about to, I was literally, it was like the person ahead of me, and then I'm going to claim it. Yeah. And they did a move and claimed it. And we realized,
it
would have won me the game. So it was a riveting game of Terraforming Mars. But Ryan.
Nice.
How about you? Closest finish of the year. What game wins the award?
This one was one that, like, when I looked at this topic, I immediately knew which one it was. Like, it was one I just remembered specifically. And it was a 3-player game of Foundations of Rome. And one thing I will say is I think both Terraforming Mars and Foundations of Rome have a nice element with the final scoring being kind of obscured. Like you don't really know until you start counting it up because there's different categories that need to be counted.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things of like, we count this category and it's like, oh man, that player was really strong in that. But then you do this different category and you're like, oh, that other person was really strong in that category.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just remember counting up the end of this game and it was like, okay, this person's way ahead. Oh, wait. This was, and by the time we get to the last category, it's like, oh my gosh, this is going to land us all like right in the same area. And the final score was 86, 86, 85. And so the winners went to a tiebreaker, which I think was leftover money. And I think the leftover money, literally the player that won had the ability, there's like the module that you can get like the characters, whatever, that like you steal a coin when someone builds next to you or you build next to somebody or whatever. And it turned out that the stealing of a coin swung the tiebreaker.
Oh, that's good.
It's like you can't get any closer. And so it was just an amazing finish. And like I said, that not just the fact that it was so close, but the way the scoring unfolded, like the drama of finding out how close it was.
Right.
And then, you're the classic, like, we got to check the rule book to see what the tiebreaker was. And I had even in the last round made some comment about like, watch money be the tiebreaker or something. Cause like I was like spending money or whatever. And it did end up being, I ended up being the one that lost the tiebreaker. So I got second.
Critical mistake.
But it was just such a good play of this game and such a great finish. It comes in with the win for closest finish of the year.
And ironically, Ryan, I don't know if you noticed this, but the scores were within the same scores of mine.
All our scores
88, 85, 84, 82, and you said yours was 86, 86, 85? Wow, this is just... It was meant to be.
This means something.
It means something. Comment down below. Let us know what it means.
But let's get to what all the people are... Yeah. Do we got any like dream interpreters or like numerologists?
Let us know. What should we be thinking about this?
I think we need to get to what everybody's been waiting for, though, which is the coveted worst play of the year.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways you can go about this. You obviously don't want to pick something that's slamming on individuals.
Okay. Well,
this is my worst play because it was with you.
I thought we were doing worst player of the year. No.
Yes, worst player. Maybe next year.
Well, Ryan, I don't know if you remember, but we agreed beforehand that whichever game wins this, you have to sell.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Okay. I'm okay with that. I picked one of your games.
I'm not. Oh, my gosh. Unbelievable. Wow. Well, then we could have the same pick here,
Ryan. Do we have a crossover?
We could have a crossover. My worst play, this connects actually a lot with what I was talking about a little bit with our play of Dwellings of Eldervale. Of a problem that can arise when when Daniel teaches a game to Ryan and forgets, a potentially important rule. And this was that experience in Dwellings of Eldervale taken to the extreme. And this game goes to, the worst play of the year goes to Grand Austria Hotel. So this play, man. So I set it up. So we have a chance to game, and this is one we really wanted to try. Like you were, I had played it I think once, and you were really interested in it. So we have the opportunity, teach it. We're playing it, and you are dominating.
I'm killing you.
This would have been blowout of the year.
It would have been.
No joke. Ryan is just shredding me. And I'm sitting here like, what is going on? I mean, like, man, he is just destroying me. Well, so there's an important rules thing regarding the cards, right? There's certain cards that you can activate I think like once per round, while there's other cards that are, you play them and they're just do it once when you play it. And it's very important to know which cards only activate once when you play them and which cards activate once every round. Because Ryan, you had a card that gave you, it was wine, right? You could get
So I had 2 of these such cards that had the icon that Dangle described as being once around. I hadn't yet seen a card that had the alternate icon. If I'd seen both, I would have been like, wait a second, Dangle, there's 2 that look like what you've said. And so I'm like, oh, these are the ones around. And so I have one that's giving me wine that was supposed to just be once
Yeah,
get
I mean, it
wine.
was...
My wine cellar was... We were going to run out of wine.
The wine was overflowing, man.
I'm going, man, this game really lets you, like, just get tons of stuff.
Abundance of riches.
But then that probably wasn't even as impactful because you only have so much stuff you can spend wine on. The one that was the just absolute destroyer is what's supposed to be a one-time fulfill any order with like out actually spending the things or like not spending all of it or something. And so every round I'm just like for free fulfilling like my hardest, best, most valuable order without even having to work for it.
Yeah.
And
so we're going and Ryan's doing this. And again, like you're like, I think you were lapping me on the score track. And so we're going through the game. I'm like, man, Ryan's just playing really well. Ryan's having a good game.
My game.
And we're pretty far into the game. Like we're getting, I think, near the end. And I have this realization as I look over at your cards, and then I grab the rule book and I look at the rule book, and it's that moment of, oh no.
Yeah, and there's times where you get a rule wrong and you can go, either you can like actually undo it well enough, or you go, you know what, like we'll spot you this and that, like go at least. This was one of the very few examples where it was like, this game is recoverable.
Yeah, I know. Like it was seriously like, we can't do anything to fix this.
Like we logged the play with no scores. Because it was like, these are meaningless at this point.
And it was so depressing to like that moment of like, we just, because we don't get a lot of chances to game together in person.
Yeah, I mean, it literally was our wives had taken the kids to go to a park
give
or
us
something,
a chance to play a game.
We were trading off them. Like, you guys watch the kids for this window so we can play it. We'll watch them so you guys can go.
And it was so sad. It was sad. So sad. So that...
Well, and what was... So I guess I should say at this point, this is also my worst play of the year.
I'm just glad we both felt the same way.
Yeah, felt the same way. And I think part of what made it sad is that it otherwise was such a positive experience. Like, I loved the game. Like,
I'm sure
granted, I was getting a little bit of
a
skewed view of what it was like to play Grand Austria. I guess we did manage to play it again before, which was nice to kind of recalibrate. And I was like, man, this game's a lot harder. This game is a lot tighter and harder than I thought it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a bummer to go from the first half of the game going, this game is amazing, for a lot of the same reasons that I still think it's amazing.
Yeah.
That feeling when you play a new game and you're like, oh, this is really clicking with me, to, oh no, this, like, we can't even finish the game and like, we're not going to get any resolution to what we've done here.
And somewhat like you didn't even really experience the game.
Yeah, like I don't know how
like,
different.
You don't know the tension that you should have been feeling,
Yeah.
So... Yeah, and as the one who taught the game, and I didn't teach it wrong. I just didn't explain that there's another card that is like I didn't say you could use it every time. I just didn't. I forgot that there's one-time use cards and forgot to try to explain it. So. As the one who taught the game, I felt horrible. I was like, oh my gosh, Ryan's thinking this is why I'm the one who teaches the game.
Hey, you were just setting up good end of year content here. For
that's true. Before the game, we said, Ryan, we need a worse play.
Let's
make it happen.
Everything's about the channel these days.
That's true, yeah.
Well, there you go. Our first ever in the... storied history of this award show. Shared
worst play of the year.
Unanimous worst play.
That was awful.
Which brings us to the most prestigious award. This is like, best picture.
Yeah.
At the Oscars. This is best play of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, I played a lot of board games this year. Now, granted, my board games are very inflated by kids' games these days. Like, I just looked the other day. This year with my 4-year-old, me and my 4-year-old played over 500 games together.
Oh my God.
So, that pushes my numbers
you
up.
have good odds that a kid's game is going to win it.
True, you'd think, because I just randomized it.
Yeah.
But to be the singular best play of the year is an honor, and so Daniel, I'm interested to hear.
This is a big award. Like, I'm expecting the publisher to reach out to us
But I mean, we should probably make a little graphic they can put on
the game. Yeah, that's right. My best. So yeah, when thinking about best play of the year, I'm just like, what is the game that when I walked away from it, it just left me in the biggest state of glee. I'm sure that's what you were thinking, Ryan.
I love board games.
I love board games. Yes, that's right. If you weren't saying that, it can't win best play of the year. Yeah. And this game did that. Honestly, Ryan, I'm realizing this is actually really funny. Almost every game outside of Terraforming Mars on here was within that 2-week span of when we were together.
Really?
So there you go.
There you go. We got it covered.
It was a good time. But this was a play that we got when you were here at our house, and it is not my game. It is your game. And we played a 3-player game of it. It is me, you, and my wife. And it was the moment that I realized this board game is so incredible. Like, the play of it. I don't know if you remember, Ryan. I was making audible noises of joy as we were playing this game.
It was in the first turn that you were making.
It wasn't even the first. Okay, I'm just going to announce the game. The winner of Best Play of the Year goes to Age of Innovation. So we've said this on the channel before. We've really loved Terra Mystica. Then you got Gaia Project, and we really enjoyed Gaia Project. But Age of Innovation just takes everything that we loved from each of those and in my opinion, delivers just the pinnacle experience. And I tell you what, when we so Ryan had played it before, but I hadn't. And so I was really excited going into it. When you laid out those factions and the randomized mixture of all the things, I'm like, oh my goodness. This is it's like taking a game that you already love. Like, I already loved Terra Mystica Gaia, and then it's like, what? You're like, this is so, and then it just went into the game, and I didn't even win. I think you won. You had a really good game in that one, but I felt like I did really well in the game, which always helps, And man, it was so much fun. It was like, I am just I'm a very expressive person. And so when
I know if Daniel's enjoying a game or not.
Ryan knows. I don't know when Ryan's enjoying a game or not, but Ryan knows when I am. And man, I'm just like, this is an absolute blast. And it was one of those where I played it once and I'm like, this is a must own for me. This is a must own, which I don't own it yet, but at some point, I'm gonna need to get this game because, man, it just takes everything that I loved about those previous games and delivers it in an awesome experience. And our play of it just showed me, I think, the fullness of why that game is so much fun. I think also just with, still we moved, so I'm still kind of meeting new people and stuff like that. I don't get a lot of opportunities to play a heavy game like this. And so even just getting the chance to do that was awesome. But man, that was such a fun play. I walked away from it it's a good thing we had that play because we had the Grand Austria Hotel debacle.
The Great Grand Austria Hotel debacle of 2024.
And then even our Dwellings of Elderville game that I blew you out was not the best play. So we needed a great experience, and that game just delivered it for me. So winner of Best Play of the Year goes to Age of Innovation.
Very nice. That's a good pick.
It's
not my pick, but it's a good pick.
Yeah.
Granted, you had some things going for you. You had never played it.
Never played it.
Intro to Age of Innovation.
It was amazing. It was so amazing.
Yeah, that was a very, very good game. My best play of the year is probably it's probably going to feel like I put it on just because of the game itself.
Oh, I know. I know exactly what you're picking.
It honestly was not even very close for me.
Yep.
because this year I got to try something that I had never tried before that wasn't possible for a long time with this game, because this game, the original edition, went to 5 players, but the new edition is 2 to 4 players and has a 5 to 6 player expansion. And it was like, when am I ever going to play a 6-player game of Agricola? Like, it just, like, I hardly get to play Agricola anyway, 2 or 3 player. The chances I'm going to have 5 other people, and that, like, I'm going to be like, yes, Agricola is the right game for this situation. Yeah. But it just aligned. Somehow it happened where we had an afternoon where we had a long block of time. I had 5 friends where 4 of them had played Agricola before, and the other one I knew would like a game of that weight. And everybody wanted to play a bigger game. Yeah. And if you got 6 people... I mean, we're not pulling out Twilight Imperium here on, like... right. So, like, there's not very many 6-player big game experiences. And so I remember thinking, like, Agricola might actually be the right pick here. And it felt a little risky because I'd never played it with this many players. I didn't know exactly how Agricola handled, and if it would work well. But I just remember, 6 people around the table. The table was filled because Agricola, I mean, with all the boards and everything.
6 people, I can't imagine.
And just like this moment of hearing around the table, everybody doing the Agricola dialogue, right? Of like kind of talking to yourself and like, and I just remember one being like, oh my gosh, I'm having so much fun, which was understandable. Agricola's my favorite game. I'm getting to play it. Right. But looking around the table and just like, I'm like, every single person at the table is having a blast right now. And like 2 hours in, everybody's having a blast. The game took us, I think, a little over 3 hours, which honestly is pretty good for 6 players and a new player. Yeah. And I tell you, there was no point in that entire time that anybody at the table was feeling like it was dragging or like the game was taking a long time. Everybody was just so locked in and engaged. And I came away from it going, one, I got to play my favorite game. I got to play it in a way I've never played it before and share the experience with that many more friends, and which is a big, like, when we talk about best play of the year, it's game plus people, equals experience. It's all of it together. Yep, right. And getting to share that with all of them and just that everybody else had such a good time with it. And then I'm coming out of it being like, wow, now Agricola is in this category I never thought about of
kind of by itself.
Yeah, like now granted, this is not a situation that comes up very
once
often.
in a lifetime experience.
Maybe not again, but like I don't know that I have another game that would work better. At 6 players than that. If that's the weight I'm looking for. So it was an outstanding experience. It was fun. The 5 to 6 player expansion adds in like occupations and stuff that are specifically for when you're playing with 5 or 6. And so some of them are a little bit more like interactive. Like I remember there was, oh man, this is really digging in my memory, but I remember my one friend, he had one that like let him like lay down a worker by fishing, and it like changed if other people went to like either the actions by it did something. And so there was just like a lot of that going on of just like interesting effects in the game. Right. It was a blast. Yeah. And I don't know if I'll get to do it again. Like,
oh my gosh.
I don't know that many people that like would want to play Agricola, but I'm so glad I had the opportunity.
I'm so happy it worked out as well as it did.
Yeah, you
texted me
down
beforehand what you were doing, and in my head I'm like, that's a horrible idea.
That sounds like a bad idea.
Well, because sometimes games like that, it's like, yeah, it can go up to 6 players, but you also never want to, like some of those heavier games, you just add more people and everyone just feels like it's dragging. Yeah. So the fact that it didn't feel that way and everyone had an awesome experience.
And I tell you, when the person to your left takes start player in a 6-player game of Agricola, it is like, oh my gosh. And we were not playing with the Farmers of the Moor expansion, but sometimes the Farmers of the Moor can alleviate a little bit of that because there's those bonus cards.
Yeah,
so sometimes
right.
even if you lose turn order, like
Right.
people take bonus cards and you still get a pretty good pick.
I didn't
but
realize
man,
you weren't playing with Farmers of the Moor.
to have 5 people get to take actions before you is pretty brutal. But it was fun. I mean, it made Start Party very impactful. It just, yeah, I could not have come away more just impressed with how the game delivered at that player count, which is really impressive given that the game was never originally designed to be a 6-player game. Like it's this newer expansion that does that. So, yep, good stuff. So Agricola and Age of Innovation, I'd say those are strong first entries in the Hall of Fame for plays.
I know.
We would love to hear top plays from you, our listener. Hopefully you found it entertaining, and hopefully you maybe find these bloopers entertaining.
I'm so happy you write these scripts and not me.
Yeah. You know, it's not a small amount of work, like between the collaborative prep. Like for each of these actual scripts, it was about an hour to sit down and like put on some music.
Totally. Ryan, I recognize that. And now I know why you're reducing the amount of reviews we do.
yeah, I was like, this sucks. I like the videos where I can just show up.
Ryan's just finding every way to cut out his work on the channel. That's good.
But it can also come in the form of point cards that are always available beside the card market. These give... I was thinking I wanted to redo it anyway, so... You ever do that? You have a little stumble and then you're like, I hope I mess up more. So that I have, so I have a reason to go back. Yeah, so just like that. Okay.
As always, we've got a link to Space Base down below if you want to check it out for yourself. It's another way to support the channel, but let's jump right into it.
It's like just a hard cut.
I'm just going to hold it for like 2 seconds. I thought I was going to say something and I just didn't have anything. Let's jump right into it.
I think it'll work. It'll transition. Okay.
It just felt so hard. Great.
Already.
Yeah. So I will, as you mentioned, I haven't gotten the value yet from that edition.
From like a per play.
Yeah, metric. Like per play is not looking too hot, but one
it's only about what, $70 per play.
Hey, you know what? There's worse things you could do. So,
I could have spent this on drugs instead.
That's how I justify every purchase. It's like this or drugs, and then that's how I decide.
It's like, wow, this is a much more responsible decision.
Okay. Here we go, Ryan. What's your number 2?
My number 22 is a game from one of the most prolific designers of all time.
Better not be Tasty Humans.
This is Reiner Knizia, who has published like 600 plus games. It is, if you want meaningful player interaction or aren't drawn to crunchy spatial puzzles, then Cascadia isn't. That doesn't It would be like if you're looking for something.
That's a great clip. Oh, you talking and then ending your sentence with, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, clip that out, Daniel.
That's good. So those are our thoughts on Underwater Cities. But Ryan, the real question is Underwater Cities a game for you, our listener?
I like it. But Ryan. Daniel tried to salvage the sentence. Arc Nova.
I didn't know you got some of the table.
Gotta play of Arc Nova, and
but not sharing.
And this is probably
Ryan. Jeez.
Yeah, I figure bring more authentic reaction to the channel.
I know.
Come on, Jake, you're gonna make me cough.
Sorry. I know.
So Arc Nova,
It's got some challenge. It's got laughter. Just find we're laughing every time we play this game. Because you're just getting in the head of the person who's putting him down. Oh, they would say this, or maybe they would do this. We were playing with our dad recently, and made a clue that was like personally about him, and so then
we won't out him.
Yeah,
on the
we're
channel,
not gonna out him. Don't worry, but he knows. He knows.
You couldn't control yourself, could you? Daniel's not gonna be able to finish now.
But anyway, I'll just leave it at that, Ryan. It was a great time, and just like
Great
right now,
time.
it's a game that leaves you laughing.
Leaves you laughing. Well, I will bring us home with my 41 after that nice inside joke. Somewhat related, we have our final question. I see Broncos a lot.
They just mean in general, like
out in the wild.
I'm assuming.
They must get out. So I don't know why their follow-up is, are there any sports games that you like? Sports-themed games? We are
that's a
big
good
Broncos
question.
fans. Denver Broncos.
If you stuck with us until this point, man, you're a real one. And if you're a real one, it means you like board games. And we've got links to all of the board games that we talked about in this video down below. I want to wish you a happy new year of gaming, and happy new year of watching more Rolls in the Family videos. We've got a couple right here. You can click on one of those, and we will see you in the next one.